Hey strangers, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lacey Ann and this is Armchair Psychology. Today we will be talking again about Michael Alig. As a reminder, he is the pervert, drug addict, convicted murderer who spends his time getting to know young boys like the well-known drag kid, Desmond is amazing. The two are seen here having a tea time below a painting that has the drug Rohypnol written on it, which is known as the date rape drug. Michael claims to be reformed since getting out of prison for the murder he committed, but he has since then been back in jail for drugs. I've done a previous video on Michael and the club kid scene, showing the danger it is to young people. It's called Desmond is Amazing, the world's youngest club kid. In that video, I prove that Michael Alig is an abuser and a predator. Please watch and share it if you can. The link will be in the description below. Although it is blatantly obvious that Michael is a danger to children, I have found video evidence of Michael and his boyfriend Kiyoki describing their sexual preference for boys around 16 years old, and they also explain exactly how they groom children and expose them to underage, unprotected sex, deadly illegal drugs, and endless alcohol. These things I'm saying to you are not a misrepresentation or an exaggeration in any way. These are facts as told by Michael Alig himself during an interview he did with what was popularly known in the 80s and 90s as The Closet Case, which I believe was a radio show, and the interviewer, the man who is the owner and creator of The Closet Case, says that he gets thousands and thousands of listeners, so we can assume that he was very, very popular again in the 80s and 90s. I don't know where he is now, but the clips we're going to see are all from the interview with this man from Closet Case. And again, for a complete summary of the behaviors of Michael Alig, please watch my Desmond is Amazing video, again linked below, either before or after you watch this video that I'm going to call a confession. This is Michael's confession of how disgusting and degenerate that he truly is. I would prefer you watch the other video before, but since you're already here, and thank you for that, let's just begin.
So, Michael, let's get this straight now. You seduce youngsters and turn them into homosexuals.
We find kids. You can tell if somebody's 15. You can tell if they're gay. A lot of times not.
You were telling me that you were sort of a born chicken hawk, in fact, Michael. Like anything over 10 is like too old for you.
Well, that's pushing it a bit far.
Okay.
You might maybe 16, 17.
16, 17. Well, you're skirting the age of consent there.
Right.
You're not the basic monogamist.
No.
You're not going to write another Torch Song trilogy. And,
No.
Okay. But I do understand that, like the Torch Song, you do adopt children in your own way.
In our own way, yes.
Yeah.
He lures them.
We have a lot
grab
of
them.
kids.
We have lots of children.
So how do you seduce these boys, Michael? What's your trick?
My charisma and charm.
Well, let's do a roll.
Here Michael tells us the age he is most sexually attracted to is around 16. I believe he's lying and that it's actually much younger, but that's hearsay for now. The interviewer refers to two things here: chicken hawk, which is a word to describe a pedophile, and he also mentions a movie trilogy, one in which depicts a gay couple who wants to adopt children. He uses that as an example, as a way to segue into talking about how Michael involves himself with really young kids. So it was a strange reference, but he was just saying that in order to bring up how Michael likes to get his hands on children as well. Michael says that he prefers 16-year-olds, but he describes getting 15-year-olds drunk and lowering them to his home, which is why I say I believe his preference is younger. But again, that's just hearsay for now. We also hear Michael admit to using alcohol to seduce boys, like I said before, and he would deny adamantly now, but a shit leopard don't change its spots, and he's very much the same he's always been. The next clips show the interviewer asking Michael and Kiyoki, the boy next to Michael, his boyfriend, he asks them to do a little role-playing kind of game with him. This is very telling of Michael's predatory ways, and it is really, really disturbing. So I want you to listen closely, as fucked up as it is, but pay attention and you will see the signs, the blatantly obvious admissions to the disgusting ways that people prey on children.
Let's do a role play here, okay?
What do you look like? No, I mean, who are you supposed to, what are you supposed to look like?
I'm 16 and I'm from New Jersey. I work at
Oh.
7-Eleven. I work at
Oh,
7-Eleven.
now that changes the whole thing.
Yeah, let's do this role
Now
play.
I get my pretty girlfriend over here, Julie,
Oh, hi, Julie. Hey, you're a sharp-looking chick.
and then she says, "Oh, do you know Michael Alig?" And he'll say yes, and
That's
she'll
the guy with the club, right?
yes, and then she'll say, "Oh, aren't you special and aren't you wonderful? And come over here and have a drink just for knowing Michael and how how wonderful. We'll have to put your name on the mailing list and mail you all these nice invitations and how popular you'll be."
Take him to other clubs.
Take him to other clubs.
And then
Get him
she'll
drunk.
say, "Isn't Michael cute?" And he'll say yes, and she'll say,
Well, he's cute if you're gay, I suppose, but
And
being
she'll-
straight,
Oh,
I
by
don't
that time,
know.
by the time
and,
we
she'll,
get him
and
drunk,
then
by the
Julie
time we
will
get
tell
to the
it.
club.
Julie's beautiful. Then she'll tell him. "Oh, but I'd like you so much better if you could just, if you could just admit that you like boys or whatever." She said, "You don't even have to be gay to admit that he's cute,
I see.
And before you
And
know
Julie
it,
can do
then
it.
then he'll have
Julie can
4 or
do it.
5 drinks, and before you know it.
Alright, so Michael just explained textbook methods used by child predators, like I said. And when Michael isn't able to seduce these children on his own, he uses his pretty woman friend to convince them that it's okay to call another guy cute. It doesn't make him gay. It turns her on to see a straight boy with a gay man being able to call him attractive and maybe give him a little kiss. And when her and Michael get him good and drunk enough, Michael offers this new starstruck fan child promises of popularity if they hang out with him, and of course the kid's gonna go home with them, and they'll feel as though they are lucky to be graced with Michael's presence, when in reality Michael's just a disgusting pervert using these kids to get his jollies, and it's fucking gross, obviously, to all us regular people. But as though that isn't disgusting enough of the women who would do anything for Michael, and of Michael himself, we're going to hear about how Michael's boyfriend Kiyoki plays his role in grooming these boys into sex with these adult men. Let's listen.
And that's what I come in.
And what do you do?
And I make him feel like at home. Yo, we'll watch the game. We'll put on a video show.
Oh, you do the jock
I
thing
do, I
to make him feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course. You can't have me,
Hey, yeah, I'd love to watch the game.
Whatever.
You
Sit
got
down
any
here.
beer?
Yeah, I got some more beer here.
Uh-huh.
Before you know it.
What's this in the
Put on
drawer?
underwear.
What's this in the drawer, Kipke? Is this some leftover ecstasy?
Oh, you ever tried ecstasy?
No, I never did. Was this stuff
It's fabulous.
for real?
Just like, you ever smoke pot?
Yeah, sure.
Just like that.
Really? You're not going to try anything funny, though, if I use it.
Hey, what do we look like?
Weirdos?
The weirdos? Come on.
Well, at that point, I suppose you're begging for trouble.
I don't know if you all got this proud vibe from Kiyoki there, but I found him to be saying this in a very bragging type of way, that he's awful proud of himself for being able to trick these little boys the way that they do together. It's like, oh God. Anyway, Michael has lived his entire adult life disregarding danger of any kind. He's clearly unaffected by the real world, as we are all witnessing him right now literally brag about being a child grooming predator and a statutory rapist who drugs children, okay? Holy shit. So next, we'll hear a bit about what goes on in the nightclubs that Michael worked for, and we all know, according to this video and my previous video, which please watch that, Michael knows very well that the children that go to his club are literally children. Club kids is not just some thing that they say. Yes, there's older people there of all ages, honestly, and that's kind of the problem. There are absolutely underage children present, and that's been admitted multiple times on camera, and you can see that in my first video. But again, he is admitting to these things right now. So let's hear a few more words on what happens with these little boys.
It's something that happened every Wednesday at Tunnel, and it just happened out of nowhere.
And now?
We had boys taking their clothes off in every corner.
Does it help when you were a DJ? Does it help to choose the right music to create the mood that will
get
live?
them in the mood, of course, and we give them free drinks between 10:30 and...
So, as we all know, Michael likes to throw these large, crazy, wild parties, and here he admits that young boys dance literally naked at them. And again, we see his boyfriend Kiyoki seemingly bragging about his work as the DJ, gets the kids in a party mood, and the drinking for free that he thinks is some cool thing that they do, giving kids free drinks, really gets them in the mood. And, you know, it's, yeah. They're admitting to doing illegal things. These are all crimes, okay? They're criminals, obviously, but we all know that. The next clip is very strange, and as you can see by Michael's face, he's confused by what Kiyoki's saying here, and so am I, because all signs, all video evidence points to the exact opposite of what Kiyoki says next. Let's hear it.
I just don't see that much sex going on, to tell you the truth. I mean, we're always safe as far as sex.
So your position on unsafe sex, namely,
I mean,
like
if they're
condoms.
all really young, and they're going to start having sex for the first time, if they keep to their own community, I don't see why they wouldn't. I mean, if they haven't had sex before, if they're all virgins and a bunch of young kids are going to go together, then why not have unsafe sex?
When Kiyoki says that the rumors of live sex being prevalent in these clubs are not true, you can see the look on Michael's face, and he's just looking at Kiyoki like, what? Why are you lying? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? We don't have a bunch of sex. Like, that's our whole thing, you idiot. You know? And right after Kiyoki says there isn't much sex going on, which is an admission that there is sex going on, it doesn't matter how much, it just shouldn't be happening, he immediately says that the sex is always safe, which is impossible to fucking know, and clearly another lie. And the next clips we heard after that just further my opinion. I think that Michael was clearly disagreeing with Kiyoki, and because Michael then goes on to say that unprotected, underage sex is perfectly fine. Yeah, it's not. It's perfectly illegal. Next, the interviewer goes on to express his curiosity as to how Michael's able to convert all these, young normal kids into this club kid scene. I feel like this is really controversial, but this clip we're about to watch exposes a lot of people in the queer community as only doing it for attention. It's often an accusation made to the transgender community, and this is Michael basically saying that, yeah, a lot of these people are doing this just to be different and cool and more special. And anyway, let's just hear it.
How do you get these boys who are closet cases to come to your events and suddenly let their hair down? You're amazing for that, and you're famous for being able to do it. Unlike
very good at that.
I think it's a fluke. I think they just started coming, and now they know to come. Because in the
going
beginning,
out.
we never went out to get them. They just
there's
started
some kids
coming.
that have been coming out, coming from Long Island, and they, come out in their little ties and their shorts, and before you know it, by the end of the month, they're wearing skirts.
They're wearing their mother's
They're all hanging
dresses.
around Michael.
They're wearing their mother's
running around,
clothes.
causing...
But it's really amazing to see them coming out in their sweatshirts and jeans, and then a month later stealing their mother's dresses and sneaking out on a school night to come to a club.
I don't understand how in the era of AIDS, all these young people who didn't have to are identifying with the gay stuff.
Because we make it seem so hip to be gay.
It's not really the sex involved at all. It's just the fun. Just let their hair down, like you say.
Yeah, they come to a club that's supposed to be popular, like Tunnel or The World or wherever, and they see all the people in charge being gay. They see the door people being gay and the bartenders and whoever is in charge being gay, and so they think that it's really hip to be gay, and that if they were gay, then they would get somewhere too.
So yeah, I do believe this is something that happens quite often, and Michael clearly encourages it. You see, Michael has an agenda. He hates civilized society. He hates normal people, and he hates the way that the whole world functions. And his entire career has and is still dedicated to destroying social norms and creating a world where all of the sick things we've heard him describing here are the new norm. And he just wants absolute fuckery. It's disgusting. But next, Michael explains how he feels about the kids who reject the mainstream in favor of his lifestyle. So we've heard how he does it, why he does it, but now we get to hear, like, what he thinks about the kids who do make that change and, in favor for how Michael wants to live.
I always assume that people are more in the closet now than ever and don't want to have any association.
Not the kids, though. We're not talking about your mainstream kids, though. These kids are really smart. I mean, they're smart enough to realize that they want nothing to do with real life, and they want nothing to do with, the daytime reality that, that is the world. They're smart enough to realize that they want to be away from that. And so that's the first step right there.
Alright, so that was the last of the clips that I'm going to play, and I don't know if you can hear it in my voice sometimes, but I'm a little sick, so I scribbled out for my closing a possibly incoherent rant. I haven't read it back yet, so I scribbled a bunch of shit down for my final thoughts, and this is what I wrote, so here we go. No child enjoys the drab of reality. As children, we are all fantastical thinkers. We wish to be special, and we dream of a life of all play and no work. But as we grow older, we realize that just isn't possible. We see that in order to be a part of the bigger picture, we must work hard in society. Michael is clearly not a mentally healthy person, based on the way that he wishes for society to be, and that is so clear when he says that 17-year-olds are smart. I mean, sure, to a degree. We've all been 17, and we were all assholes a lot of the time at that age who didn't like it that responsibility and accountability were fastly approaching, and we rejected it as long as we possibly could. But by age 5, we are supposed to be mentally developed enough to understand party time is few and far between. The fact that Michael thinks a 17-year-old is intellectually and emotionally responsible enough to choose to become a drug-addicted sex object goes to show you how inept Michael Alig himself is when it comes to intelligence, reasoning, maturity, and responsibility. This is the real Michael Alig. He has always been a disgusting, degenerate stain on the fabric of society, and he will continue to be. I don't want this video to be insanely long, so I'll end it here. But again, I've laid it out so much more thoroughly with a lot more information on Michael and how he is truly a sociopath and a narcissist, and that in that video it just proves that he's as sickening today as he was in the clips in today's video. Again, I'm going to put the link down in the description for my first Desmond video, and please do watch that. Sorry I've disturbed you all yet again. I guess it's kind of just my thing that I do. And I'm sorry about that. I know I talk about a lot of really, heavy stuff, and I just think it's really important to call people out on their bullshit, and we really need to call out people like this on the disgusting things that they are doing. They're trying to normalize child sexuality, and there's nothing normal about it. And yeah, again, thank you guys for watching and dealing with my rants and rambles, and I'll see you soon. Have a good one.